Welcome back to All Things with Alla. I am Alla. Today we are making borscht. I love borscht. I love anything beets. So I guess I am biased when it comes to like, is this delicious? I make it a little different, probably than you've seen or you've made. This is how I make it. I've been making it like this for years. The seasonings, what I wanted to say is the seasoning that I use. If you don't have those, salt and pepper, I think is fine, but I do recommend Vegeta. So that's the one seasoning I would not skip. If you don't have it, go get some. But the other seasonings that I use, you can skip it. You'll be fine. It's just as good. But I love borscht and I can't wait to share with you guys my recipe. I get asked for this all the time and I make huge pots all the time because I always love to share it. So, okay, let's go make some borscht. First, we have to start with the broth, and the broth is cooked on short ribs. I know it adds up, they're pricey. I never said this soup was cheap, but I can tell you it is amazing, and these definitely make it. So we start with good quality short ribs. I like them about finger size. So if you are at the store and they're a little longer, I'm sure if you ask the butcher, they'll cut it for you. Okay, so we're gonna put this on here. I turn it on to high. I have about this much water in here, and I'm just waiting for this water meat to boil. And then it's gonna collect this like weird, I don't know what it's called. This weird stuff. You'll see, it's weird. I don't add any seasonings. I don't add anything until I'm done collecting all that stuff that comes up on top. And I do that about 3 times, but I'll show you all those steps. In the meanwhile, in the meantime, while this is doing its thing and coming to a boil, I'm gonna go grab all my vegetables, my beets, my carrots, my potatoes, and prepare all that so that it goes pretty quick after the simmer of the meat is done. Usually the meat cooks about a half an hour to 40 minutes, and usually that's how long it takes me to prepare all my other stuff. So it's a good multitask kind of soup, if that makes any sense. It does in here. Oh my goodness, if you guys only heard all the stuff that goes in my head. Okay, enough chit chat. Let's get preparing while this is doing what it needs to do. A few important ingredients that I like to use in my borscht. So golden potatoes. This is just the brand that I got, but honestly, the brand doesn't matter as long as they're good golden potatoes. You don't want any green on the potatoes. If you ever see green, don't buy them. They're no good. So nice golden potatoes. I always like to use a sweet onion. Of course, beets. Lots of beets. I love beets. And then sauerkraut. I like to use the sauerkraut that's in the bag. I feel like this is the best one. It doesn't overpower my soup too much. The other ones, they're delicious. I love them. They come like in a jar, but they overpower my soup too much. These I find to be the best. There's different kinds. This is just the one that I got this morning, but honestly, it does not matter which brand. So we're just gonna prepare all this while our meat is doing what it needs to do in here. I like to use a lot of beets. So here you see they're pretty big. Probably about, once we cut them and shred them, it's going to be 8 cups of sliced beets because we're not shredding it. We're dicing them. I think that's the word. You'll see. And this is what we want it to look like when it's just about done, where we can add our other components for this yummy broth. So if there's anything left on top, just one more scoop, just to make sure we get it all out. So then, and I like to use just a disposable plate and I just throw it right out because to me this is disgusting. I don't know what it is, but it's disgusting. I'm gonna add more water because some of it did evaporate while it was boiling. Always keep it around a half a pot. So I'm gonna wait for this to come to a boil because I added more water before I start adding my seasonings in there, like my salt, pepper, Vegeta, all that other stuff that I add in there. One more thing before I start adding anything, I take a paper towel and I just go around the edges and collect any of that stuff that accumulated. I don't know, you guys. I don't know what that is, but it bothers me and I don't like seeing it. Okay. So it is boiling. We are going to start adding So we have, okay, this is the Geta. I get it at our Ukrainian store, but I'm sure the grocery stores have it as well. Get the one without MSG. I really like this stuff. I use it in all my soups. We are going to do 3 tablespoons. I also have a few bunches of garlic, just like that, whole pieces. And then, of course, a few leaves, a few bay leaves. I'm also going to go and chop up my carrots, and they're going to go inside as well. Roughly 1 cup of chopped carrots. And then while that's cooking, we are going to start on our beets. I am slicing them about 1 inch thin. Is that about maybe 2? I'm not sure. So this is how I cut them, into strips like that. Okay, and now we are going to saute our beets before they go in the broth. Well, it's super ready. Just gonna add some oil to my pan, just enough to cover it. I'm gonna add our sauerkraut. What I do is I drain half of it and then the other half, along with all the sauerkraut, goes in my pot. So I drained about half of the liquid and then the rest of it is gonna go right in here. We're gonna add some ketchup to our beets. You guys can tell the liquid has risen because I added so much stuff in there. So that's why I always say keep it at half. We are going to add 1/3 of a cup of vinegar. And then here I have my oil heating up and I chopped up my onion here. So I have my carrots, my onion, my oil, and I'm doing the staple, I like to call it, of my soup. I always do my onion first. While that is sauteing, what I recommend is for you to try your soup. Like, is it enough salt for you? Is it enough vinegar for you? Everybody's different. So you definitely want to try it. Now we're going to add our carrots. There you go, guys. And this is how I cook borscht. Like, it's so good. I'm drooling right now. It is so good. Everybody's different, in my personal opinion, on how they cook it. This is just how I cook it. I can't even tell you where I came up with the recipe. It was one of those things where let's try this, let's try that. And we love short ribs. So that's why I cook it on short ribs. I've seen people where they add cabbage instead of sauerkraut. I've seen where people add beans. I've seen people where they add sour cream to it or cream. There is lots of different ways. There isn't one set way. But mine, I think, is very simple. It might take a little time because you're chopping the beets and things like that, and it takes time to cook the broth. But I think overall it doesn't have too many steps. It's pretty simple. But one last try. You always want to try it. Even with the vinegar, you guys, add half. If you're not a big fan of vinegar, maybe it's too much vinegar for you. Add half, try it, and then add. Oh, that's good. Perfect. This is how I like it. I just love it this way. I don't add sugar. I've seen people who add sugar too. You know, my thing is less sugar as much as I possibly can. But this is very delicious. Yes, this is a huge pot. This is probably like, it'll feed a family of 10. But I will share this with my family. And me and my husband, we love borscht. And the good thing about borscht is it sits for a few days. So you can eat this, keep it in the refrigerator, obviously, but you can eat this 3, 4, even 5 days and it's still as good. So, and we love it so much, we don't mind eating it a few days in a row. But I can't wait for dinner. I hope you guys enjoy the recipe. Let me know in the comments what you think. I will post it in the description, the recipe for this huge pot though. So, you know, make it half if you want to make smaller ones. But I just think it's so good. I love to share it. And I always make it in a large pot like this. I don't even know how to make it in a small pot. I've tried. It doesn't work. I'll start with the small pot. By the time I'm done, we're at the huge pot. It is what it is. But I would love to know what you think. And what are some of the weird things you had borscht with? I like to eat my borscht with sweet onion with a vinegar. And I actually add more vinegar to my borscht, but I don't add too much in here because my husband doesn't like a lot of it, but I like a lot of vinegar. So that's just me. So borscht with onion with vinegar. That's how I eat it. Okay, till next time, enjoy.